Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Thank you again, Mr. Dex Rowe, and welcome to this week's edition of Classic Radio Rewind. Classic Radio Rewind is brought to you each and every week by the WOTR Radio Network, a network of classic old-time radio stations that you can listen to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WOTRRadionetwork.com. Now, on to this week's edition. Coming up later, we'll hear from a classic cops and robbers drama, Pursuit from 1951. Followed by The Bob Hope Show from 1955, and wrapping up this week's podcast is an episode from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater from 1975. But first, this week's kickoff episode is from the All-Star Western Theater. The All-Star Western Theater was a delightful blend of adventure, comedy, and music. Imagine tuning in and being whisked away to the rugged, untamed West, where six-shooters gleamed, cowboy boots kicked up dust, and the airwaves crackled with tales. From October 13th, 1946, this is the All-Star Western Theater with I Came From Texas, starring Tex Ritter.
Drifting along, singing a song under a
From Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. Our guest star today is that great singing cowboy from the Western screen, Tex Ritter, in a story of the West prepared especially for him. Now, here are the Riders of the Purple Sage.
A golden sun in the sky, a silver cloud rolling by, they make me feel like I should be where rocky roads are calling me. I don't know just where I'm bound, I know I won't settle down just like a seed the wild wind sows. I'll just pack my saddle and my pony I'll straddle and go riding down the rocky road.
Seems that I was born to tote a heavy load and ride the rocky road forever. But it's down the rocky road where true friends stand and travel hand in hand together.
A golden sun in the sky, a silver cloud rolling by, they make me feel like I should be where rocky roads are calling me. I don't know just where I'm bound, I know I won't settle down just like a seed the wild wind sows. I'll just pack my saddle and my pony I'll straddle and go riding down the rocky road.
Now, by special request, the Riders of the Purple Sage repeat a song they did a few weeks ago. One of the nation's all-time favorites, To Each His Own.
the sun and the rain, or its lovely promise won't come true. To each his own, to each his own, and my own is you. What good is a song if the words don't belong? And a dream must be a dream for two. No good alone, to each his own. For me there's you. If a flame is to grow, there must be a glow. To open each door, there's a key. I need you, I know, I can't let you go. Your touch means too much to me. Two lips must insist on two more to be kissed, or they'll never know what love can do. To each his own, I found my own, one and only you.
It's guest star time at your all-star Western Theater, and today we welcome a return visit from America's great cowboy singing star of Western Pictures and Capitol Records, Tex Ritter. Our story today, written especially for our guest star, is entitled, I Came from Texas. Tex Ritter is heard as a carefree, fast-drawing, quick-thinking, hard-riding man from Texas. Our scene is the wild, untamed cow town of Spur City, Wyoming, back in the days when a quick draw was law.
You know, Pete, a stranger's got a better chance in this town since that Texas feller blowed in and made himself acquainted.
You know, being a stranger myself, I know what you mean.
Yes, sir, that fella really made him sit up and take notice.
Anybody know anything about him?
No. And he didn't mean for him to find out either. When anybody asked him where he was from, he just said, I came from Texas. And he said it in such a way that, well, you didn't have a hankering to ask him anything else.
You know what's funny about fellas like him? Nobody knows nothing about him. Blows in, takes over, and then takes out. I wish I'd have known him.
He was sure some man. I'll never forget when he first came riding into Spur City. I was sitting down in front of Slick Gaylord's saloon when he came a-riding in singing a song. Seemed like the most peaceful man in the world, but that was what fooled a lot of people.
Jack a diamond, and I know you of old. You've robbed my po pocket of silver and gold. Whoa, boy, whoa, whoa. Easy. Howdy, stranger. Where can a man put up for the night?
Well, they can take care of you in Slick Gaylord's place here.
Much obliged. Jack a diamond, you've been my downfall. You kick me, you cuff me.
Name your poison, stranger.
I'd be much obliged for the biggest glass of water you serve.
Water?
Your ears don't lap over. I said water. You know, the stuff that falls from up there. I'm thirsty.
Oh, water. Well, coming right up. Here you are.
I'm much obliged. Fill her up again.
You mean you want more of that stuff?
How'd you guess?
Say, stranger, has it ever occurred to you that this bar might be in business for a profit?
What business is that of yours?
I happen to own the place.
Well, that don't quench my thirst a bit.
Huh?
Much obliged, barkeep. Here's $1 for you. And it don't go in the register.
Well, much obliged.
Look here, stranger. I don't know who you are, but I think you did that for my benefit.
You're exactly right, my friend. I don't like your looks. And I don't like your attitude.
But I like your place of business, so reckon I'll stick around for a spell.
Is that so? Well, I have a special committee of one to welcome fellas like you. Hey, Frenchie. Frenchie Lang.
Yes, Slick.
Come here.
I'd be proud to meet him.
What is it, Slick?
Show this gentleman out the door. He doesn't like my looks.
Glad to do it, Slick. All right, stranger. Blow.
You're getting a little warm, friend, so maybe I'd better fan you.
All right, stranger. You're making trouble in the wrong place. You know
If
that,
you
don't
reach for that gun, you'll wish you hadn't.
I ain't reaching. Now, don't you think you better move on?
Well, you ain't asking me nice enough yet.
Just who are you and where you from?
It's none of your business who I am. I come from Texas.
Texas, eh?
Yeah. That's a state. Hey, barkeep, give me another glass of water.
Well, how about it, Slick?
Oh, I don't think Slick objects. Do you, Slick?
Now, look here, Texas. If you're looking for trouble, then you came to the right place to find it.
Tell you what I'll do, Slick. You don't like me, and I doggone sure don't like you. I'll cut you a high card to see which one gets down on his knees and apologizes to the other.
What's the idea?
Well, I'm giving you an even break. Because if me and you don't start getting along with each other, one of us is gonna get hurt. And it ain't gonna be me.
Hand me a deck of cards, Joe.
Here you are, Slick.
All right, Texas. We cut to see who gets down on their knees.
Take a card, Slick.
Here it is. 10 of hearts.
Yeah, not bad. Now I'll try my luck. Jack of diamonds.
Now, look here, stranger. You've carried this too far.
All right, Slick, start kneeling.
You can't get away with this.
I'll bet you my horse and saddle that before I leave here, you're gonna kneel down and tell old Texas that you're sorry. And I don't like to be kept waiting.
If any of my boys were around here, you wouldn't get by with this.
Why don't you wake that one up I put to sleep a few minutes ago? Maybe he'd like to help. Come on, Slick. You made a deal with me and you're stuck with it.
Let him have it, Joe.
All right, Slick. I'm through fooling around. And before I get nervous and let this gun go off again, you start carrying out your end of the bargain. Ah. That's fine. Now say, Texas, I'm sorry.
Texas, I'm sorry.
And from now on, I'll be a good little boy.
Now, look here.
You heard me?
And from now on, I'll be a good little boy.
That's fine. Now get up off your knees and I'll buy you a drink.
You're going to hear from me, stranger. I ain't forgetting this.
I reckon it will be kind of hard to forget.
Just see to it that you make yourself scarce in these parts, you hear me?
Slick, I have too much fun with you to want to leave this town. I'll be seeing you later.
Yes, sir, Pete, he was the doggonedest fellow you ever heard tell of. Wasn't afraid of nothing. Been anybody else that had a run-in with Slick Gaylord like that, it would have just been too bad for him. But this fellow had a charmed way of doing things. The very next afternoon, he was crossing the street, headed toward Slick's place, when old Tom Edwards stopped him. Tom had been having some trouble with Slick.
Friend, wonder if I might talk to you a minute.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
I was in Slick Gaylord's place last night, and I just wanted to tell you, I admire a man who can stand up against the likes of him.
Well, he kind of got my hair, so I just figured I'd comb him out.
Yeah, it's a shame there ain't more men around here. Don't buck up to him like you do. If I was 20 years younger, he wouldn't be running me around like he's doing.
What's he doing to you?
I had to lean against my ranch, and he up and decides that he'd like to have my place. So he bought my paper from the bank, and now he's trying to close me and my daughter out.
How much has he got against you?
$4,000. But I ain't got a chance to raise it till fall. And he's in cahoots with the banker, old Sam Lawson. So it looks like I'm stuck.
What's your next move?
I'm going to go in and see him now. That's what I was down last night for. But after you left, he was in no condition to talk with anybody.
How much time you got to raise this money?
Only till tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Look, Edwards, don't see Gaylord yet. Just leave him to me.
Yeah, but I got to talk to him, stranger.
I know this don't make sense, but if you'll trust me, I'll settle the whole thing and be at your house tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And they won't foreclose on you and your daughter.
Well, sir, I don't know why, but I'm going to do what you say.
Good. You see, I got an awful bad habit of putting my nose into other people's business. But I kind of enjoy it.
Son, I sure hope you can help us.
I'll figure it out some way. See you in the morning.
Thanks again. So long to you.
How you doing, Joe?
Oh, it's you again. What do you want? More water?
No, Joe, ain't thirsty today. How's that hole I put through your gun hand last night?
Kind of sore like, but look, Texas, I didn't want to draw on you.
Forget it, Joe. Where's Slick?
Well, he's out on some business today. If you'll take my advice, you won't let him catch you in here. He's carrying enough gunmen around here to start another civil war since he had that run-in with you.
Well, that's good. My trigger finger's kind of itchy.
Man, you talk like you're out of your head sometimes.
Think I'll sit in on this card game for a spell.
They welcome all comers at that table, especially strangers with money.
Well, I'm a stranger, and I'm packing a few dollars, so here goes.
Watch 'em close.
Much obliged, Joe. Oh, and by the way, make me a big pitcher of ice water. I might get thirsty.
Well, Pete, I was watching him. He sets in the game. I could tell the way the boys was figuring on trimming him, but they was being mighty careful about it. 'Cause they'd seen what had happened the night before. But doggone if he didn't have the finest streak of luck I'd ever seen. I guess it was luck. At any rate, he was taking them slow but sure.
That must have been a sight. Then what happened?
Well, the game went on until around 10 o'clock that night. That was when the old Texas boy made his big killing. He dealt a hand of 5-card stud. After the last card had been dealt, all 3 players had caught a jack. The next biggest card up was a 10-spot, which old Lang was a-holding. That's when the betting really started in earnest.
All right, Texas. I'll bet you 200.
I call and raise 2.
Beats my hand. Pass. You can't be holding the case, Jack. I'll raise that 500.
500, huh? How much you got in front of you?
I got 1,200 left.
I'll bet 1,200.
Well, I'll call with a pair of 10s. What do you got?
I ain't looked at my hold card yet, but I got a hunch it's there.
Oh, so you're trying to bluff me, huh?
I'll let you know in a minute. Turn this little card over and see.
The jack of diamonds.
Yes, sir. Pair of jacks.
Just wait a minute. This looks phony to me.
Ordinarily, for a remark like that, I'd shove a deck of cards down your gullet.
Oh, yeah?
Since you're the heavy loser, I'll just forget it.
Then see what you can do about this.
Here's $1, boys. When he wakes up, tell him to have a drink on Old Texas. Well, Joe, you better give me another glass of water. I gotta be going.
Got it ready and waiting for you, Texas.
Much obliged. And here's $100. Buy your kids some Christmas toys.
But it's 6 months till Christmas, Texas.
Then I'll take it back and give it to you then.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'll save it for him.
That's better. Wonder why Slick ain't been in today.
Well, don't know. It must be something mighty important to keep him away this long, though.
I'll tell him I'll see him in the morning.
All right, Texas, and thanks for the 100. The kids will sure appreciate it.
Oh, don't lie to me, boy. Your kids will never see that money.
Well, he is the doggonedest doggone feller I ever seen in my whole put together.
Yes?
I'd like to see Mr. Edwards.
Haven't you heard about him?
No, what do you mean?
He was killed last night.
Killed?
That's right. His body was found late last night over near the river crossing. Just what you want to see him about, Texas?
Well, I was going to help him on a little business matter this morning.
Who is it, Bill?
Jane, this is Texas, a friend of your father's.
Hello, Texas.
Howdy, ma'am. Sorry about everything. But I had a talk with your father yesterday afternoon, and I arranged a loan for him. Told him I'd come by this morning.
I guess it's too late now. I don't know what to do.
Well, miss, I hate to have to talk to you at a time like this, but I can help you if you'll tell me what you need.
Mr. Gaylord is supposed to be here this morning for his money.
You'll find the full amount in this envelope. We'll arrange the loan details later.
I don't know what this is all about, except to thank you.
That's all right, miss. Now tell me, Do you have any idea as to who would have wanted to shoot your father?
Oh, he didn't have an enemy in the world. I know it. That is, except his business differences with Slick Gaylord.
That's all I need to know. I'm sorry to have troubled you, ma'am, but I have to be going. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Oh, and thank you so much.
Are you the sheriff?
That's right, stranger. What's it for you?
Come with me. I'm going to give you a job to do.
Well, what are you talking about?
I'll take care of everything. I just want you standing by to clean up the mess after I get through. Come on. All right, Gaylord. Start talking. Where were you last night?
What are you talking about? Sheriff, what are you doing with this man?
Well, I don't know, Slick. He just asked me to come with him.
All right, Texas, beat it. You're going to have real trouble if we tangle again.
Answer my question. Where were you last night?
What do you want to know for?
Tom Edwards was shot in the back last night.
Yeah, what's that got to do with me?
Plenty. Where were you?
Well, for your information and the sheriff's, I was over at Rocktown last night. I played cards in my brother's saloon all night. Ain't that right?
That's right. I was with him. Well, I reckon that clears you of this stranger's acquisition, Slick.
And not so fast, Sheriff. Slick, I say you're lying.
Now, look here, Texas. You ain't going to get by with that kind of talk this time.
That's right, stranger. You can't accuse a man of murder unless you know what you're talking about.
And what if I prove what I say is true, that he's lying?
Well, that's different, of course.
All right, Slick. What do you think of this? You say that you were at your brother's saloon in Rocktown all night.
That's right.
Then I don't reckon you heard the news.
What news?
Your brother's saloon burned to the ground yesterday evening about 6 o'clock.
Why, you stand back. I got your cover.
You better put that gun down, Slick, because I'm coming in to take it away from you.
You better not. I'll shoot. Don't come any further.
All right, Sheriff. That's your man.
Well, Slick, looks like you're in for it.
Texas, I'll get you someday for this.
Where you're going after you reach the end of that rope, you won't be bothering anybody.
Well, as for you, stranger, you should have told me about these things and let me handle the case. I'm the sheriff here.
Well, I just like to work things out my own way, Sheriff.
Well, it looks like you've done it this time. Well, Slick, come on. We'll get that gun hand of yours patched up and head for the county seat.
Texas, I was sure thinking for a minute there that you was in trouble, I'm telling you.
So did I, Joe. You better give me a glass of water.
Yes, sir, he sure pulled a fast one on old Slick.
Is that what became of him?
Well, it seems as if he kind of got stuck on that Edwards gal. He stayed around about a week, and when anybody wanted him, they knew right where he'd be, out to see that pretty Jane Edwards.
I wish you wouldn't talk about leaving here.
I'd like to stay around, Miss Jane, but I ain't so much on settling down.
I wish you were different in that respect.
I do too, Miss Jane,
Oh,
but...
please don't call me Miss Jane.
I'm sorry, Miss Jane.
I need help on the ranch. Awfully bad.
You've got a bunch of good men. And, well, I'd like to stay around, but something tells me not to.
What tells you not to?
I don't know. Tell you what I'll do. I'll cut a deck of cards. Any card from ace to 7 means I'll go to work for you. From an 8 to a king means I ride on.
I'll get a deck of cards.
No, I always carry 'em myself. Here, shuffle 'em up.
This is fun. Unless I lose.
I figure I'll lose either way.
All right. Cut them.
There.
Jack of diamonds.
Well, he rode away. And believe me, more people than just Miss Jane hated to see him leave.
I wonder where he went to.
I've been wondering myself, Pete. Funny, but I can just picture him right now riding into some town and singing that song in that carefree manner.
Jack of diamond, I know you of old. You've robbed my poor pocket of a silver and gold. Whoa, whoa, boy. Oh, easy. Howdy, stranger. Where can a man put up for the night?
I reckon they can take care of you in my green saloon.
Much obliged. Jack a diamond, you've been my downfall. Kick me.
What'll be your pleasure, stranger?
I'd like a big glass of water.
Water?
Your ears don't lap over. I said water.
Thank you, Tex Ritter, for a grand performance. Heard with Tex in our cast today were Joe Forte, Harry Lang, Helen Gerald, Al Sloy, Jimmy Dean, and Johnny Girardi. Tex will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here is Foy Willing returning to the microphone with our guest star, Tex Ritter.
Tex, it was good having you back with us once again.
Much obliged, Foy. It's nice keeping company with you boys and all the folks again.
Well, Tex, you know that just about brings us up to song time.
Now, don't ask me what I'm going to sing, because you already know. Just tell me when I'm supposed to do it, and I'll sing. Then I'll go home, leave all the folks alone.
You know, if the folks had their way about that, Tex, you'd never get home. But right now, we're ready and waiting for you to sing your latest Capitol recording release, When You Leave, Don't Slam the Door.
Then crank up your band, and I'll give it a try. Dishes are piled up in the sink, and you've been gone all day. I don't want you anymore. Pack your trunk and suitcase and go away from me. When you leave, don't slam the door. You've had a dozen different guys and always ran around. It's my time to toot time. I'm gonna paint the town. I'm a-changing all my way. No more trifling day. When you leave, don't slam the door. If I see you on the street, I won't even speak. There's no room inside my heart for a liar and a sneak. There's nothing more to say. Please be on your way. When you leave, don't slam the door.
So long, Tex Ritter. It's been great having you as our guest. The writers of the Purple Sage have a special treat in store for you folks today as they bring you their latest recording release, Divorce Me, C.O.D.
Just bought me a great long ticket, gonna use it at 4 p.m. So you can call your secret love and break the news to him. You thought your little romance was on the strict QT. If you want your freedom, PDQ, divorce me, C.O.D. I won't be round to hear you cry. I'm Texas bound, and by, you can reach me down in Dallas, general delivery. If you want your freedom, PDQ, divorce me, C.O.D. I'll agree there still might be just as many fish swimming in the sea. Keep on fishing and maybe sometime some poor fish will nibble at your line. When he does, I bet you say, the best one I had got away.
There's gonna come a day, gal, when you'll be feeling blue. You'll
find that you can't pay your bills with a little old IOU. This dynamite you're playing with may be TNT. If you want your freedom, PDQ, divorce me, COD. I won't be round to hear you cry. I'm Texas bound, and by, you can reach me down in Dallas, general delivery. If you want your freedom, PDQ, divorce me, COD. Now, babe, there ain't no use to pretty please, 'cause I've been learning all my ABCs. Ain't no college professor, ain't got no PhD. If you want your freedom, PDQ, divorce me, COD. Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood, you've heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. Our guest today has been that great star of the Western screen, Tex Ritter. Next week, another great star in A Story of the West. This is Dave Vale speaking.
That was the All-Star Western Theater with I Came from Texas, starring Tex Ritter as originally heard October 13th, 1946. Next up on Classic Radio Rewind is an excellent tale from the classic Cops and Robbers series, Pursuit. In this episode, this story poses two questions. How could a murder victim survive for 4 months with a bullet in his head? And who put the bullet there? Inspector Black is determined to find out the answers. From October the 2nd, 1951, this is Pursuit with the man who died late.
And now, Pursuit. If your blood is not getting enough iron, you look pale, feel run down, and an added burden is placed on your heart. It has to work harder to keep you going. So take an iron tonic, ironized yeast. Its regular use gives you the vital iron you need in abundance. Pallor and tiredness may be due to other causes, so to be sure of your condition, see your doctor. But if you're simply not getting enough iron, see how regular use of ironized yeast tablets brings back your old-time energy and vigor.
Pursuit. A criminal strikes and fades quickly back into the shadows of his own dark world. And then, the man from Scotland Yard, the famous Inspector Peter Black, and the dangerous, relentless Pursuit. When man hunts man. In just a moment, tonight's story.
Thousands of men bothered with excessive falling hair due to infectious dandruff are finding wonderful relief from this condition by using a remarkable dandruff product called Double Danderine. If this is your trouble and you want to avoid the embarrassment of hair that's thinning out, try Double Danderine and see for yourself how amazingly effective it is. Double Danderine actually works where many other methods fail because it does more than remove loose dandruff. It gets after the germ, Pityrosporum ovale, which many outstanding authorities say is a common cause of infectious dandruff. And it kills this dandruff-causing germ on contact. Completely safe to use, Double Danderine has given truly remarkable results, even in some of the most stubborn cases of dandruff. So if infectious dandruff is causing your hair to fall out excessively, try dousing your scalp with Double Danderine, a remarkable dandruff product that guarantees dandruff relief or your money back. Tomorrow, get Double Danderine.
Now, with Ben Wright starred as the famous Inspector Peter Black of Scotland Yard, we bring you tonight's story, Pursuit, and the Man Who Died Late.
Hello, Moffat.
Oh, good afternoon, sir. I was just putting some papers in the file. Nice wedding?
No, ghastly. The mother-in-law cried, the father-in-law scowled. Any of these letters important?
No, sir. Oh, that one's from the RAC. Your subscription is due.
Oh, why the devil don't they send it to my home?
I think, sir, you asked them to forward it to the yard.
Oh, did I? Oh, all right. Oh, blast those rates. They seem to go up every year. You know, it's more than a man can afford to keep a car these days.
And that's a fact, sir. There's a message from Dr. Bishop, sir. He'd like you to give him a ring.
Bishop? You know, there was a little chap at the church who reminded me of Bishop. It turned out to be Lord Bagley. You know, Bagley's liver beans.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Oh, now let's see what the dear old gizzard merchant wants.
Where's the honeymoon going to be, sir?
Oh, France. He's going to spend his time rowing up and down the Seine.
It'll be nice for his wife, sir.
Won't it?
This is Dr. Bishop speaking.
Oh, hello, Doctor. Black here.
Oh, Black, my dear fellow, how are you?
Very well, thanks. How's your wife?
Oh, doing quite nicely, thank you. Look here, would you mind coming down for a moment? I've got something terribly interesting to show you.
Oh, well, I'm taking a holiday today. My brother's wedding.
I say, how nice. All sorts of congratulations. He's the army chap, isn't he?
Navy.
Of course. But I do wish you'd pop in for a moment. I'm so afraid someone else will get it, and it's your sort of thing.
Oh. Alive or dead?
Dead. Amazingly dead. I've never seen anything like it. You must see. It's the best one I've had for ages.
After 3 years, my new sister-in-law and I finally trapped my brother Reggie into marriage. He'd fought hard and well, but we had won. It had been a matter of principle. That and the fact that for some unaccountable reason, Vivian adored him. And so I had taken the day to see that Reggie would forever renounce his precious bachelorship. Fortified by several brandies and sodies, he had done so. On my way home, I dropped in at the yard, and a few moments later was on my way down to the lair of Scotland Yard's incredible pathologist, Dr. Bishop.
Come in. Hello, Black. So glad you could come. I don't mind telling you, this is a red letter day for me.
Oh?
I've got him in the examination room. My word, it's a topping case.
Oh, really? I suppose the fact that he's dead helps.
Rather. Wait till I tell the chaps at the RCP. Now, have a look at this. Well?
Concussion?
I thought you'd say that. No, my dear fellow, not at all. Here, see that? Where the head has been shaved and the incision?
Yes.
I took this out of the brain.
Hello.
You'd think a bullet in the brain would kill a man, wouldn't you?
Well, they've been known to.
This one did, but it wasn't fired today. It had been in there for months, and he was brought in late this morning.
Oh, now look here.
I thought you'd like it.
Well, what about the blow on his head?
That wouldn't have killed him. The bullet entered the frontal lobe, just above the hairline. See?
Yes.
Now, look at that.
Oh.
Abscess. Over a period of time, it eroded the left anterior artery. Here.
And that caused his death?
Oh.
Today?
Yes. Infection. It had to happen sooner or later. It did.
Is there any way of telling how long ago the man was shot?
Not definitely, I'm afraid, but several months, I'm sure.
Well, what about the blow on his head? Do you know anything about that?
Happened this morning. They can tell you upstairs.
Who's taking care of it?
Inspector Mallinson.
All right, I'll get in touch with you later.
Delighted.
I say,
Yes, old boy?
You couldn't be wrong about this, could you?
My dear chap, really?
No, yes, quite. Sorry. I left Dr. Bishop once again huddled over the sheeted form on the examining table and went upstairs. The last time I had worked with Mallinson was when an attempt was made to blow up the yard. We'd become quite friendly since then. He was a dry, rather cynical man who loved his job and laughed at it at the same time.
Hello. Welcome to my digs. You look like a swank pot today. Funeral?
No, wedding.
Same thing. By the way, have you heard about the new...
Yes, I've just seen it.
It's yours, you know. I was just going to take the information over to your office.
Oh, what happened?
Dead man, Martin Tansley, 96 Brompton Road, took a walk in Hyde Park this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Chap hit him on the head and stole his wallet. That's all. It was very simple, until the gizzard merchant started to mess about and found the bullet.
What about the thief?
Oh, we've got him. Holds fast to his story, though. Want to see him?
Yes, I suppose I'd better.
Hello, this is Inspector Mallinson speaking. Would you bring Thomas Boakes to my office, please? Thank you.
Have the relatives been notified?
Not yet. I sent a man to the address, but there was nobody at home. Neighbor says Tansley's wife is away in Scotland with her 2 kids. We're trying to contact her.
Oh. Well, this is going to be interesting. What do we charge our man with? Robbery or murder?
Both, I suppose.
The bishop insists that the blow had nothing to do with death.
Didn't do Tansley any good, I'll bet.
Well, then the point seems to be, when was the bullet fired? How long ago? Who did it? And why?
I've always admired your methods, sir. You seem to get right to the heart of the thing.
Well, now, Chucky.
Sorry. Come in. Oh, come in, Boakes. This is Chief Inspector Black. He'd like to ask you some questions.
I told you what happened. I didn't kill no one.
Which, my nasty fella, is a double negative, meaning you did kill someone. Possibly Martin Tansley, eh?
I didn't kill no one.
Your name is Thomas Boakes?
Yes.
For how long had you known the deceased?
I never met the bloke in my whole life.
Until this morning, what?
You admit striking him down and robbing him in Hyde Park?
Yes.
Had you ever seen him before?
No, never.
What did you hit him with?
A cosh.
It was a piece of solid rubber about a foot long.
I see. Did he strike his head when he fell?
It was on the grass. He didn't hit his head on nothing.
Ooh, double negative.
Now, you listen to me, Boakes. You're in serious trouble. The man you hit is dead.
It wasn't me, did it? Think I don't know how to bash a bloke so he...
Yes, I'm sure you do. What I want to know is, did he appear perfectly normal when you first saw him? Did he walk or behave as though he was ill?
Nah. Looked all right to me. Too all right. That's why I coshed him.
Have you ever carried a gun?
What do you take me for? Of course not.
I see. All right, Constable, you can take him back. That's all for the time being. It was fairly obvious that Thomas Boakes was telling the truth. His file in Criminal Record Office testified to a series of petty thefts and assaults, and we had no reason at the moment to believe that he would add murder to his craft. Therefore, we were faced with a unique situation. A man had been shot in the head. Exactly when, we did not know. He had lived for months with the bullet lodged in his brain. Was it an accident or murder? I felt that the answer to this and other questions could at least be answered in part by the dead man's wife, Ellen Tansley. 2 days later, she was located and informed of her husband's death. She returned immediately to London, and I interviewed her soon after she had identified the body at her home in Brompton Road.
I don't believe you. He wasn't shot. That man who hit Martin killed him. For some reason, you want me to think something else, but I won't.
Mrs. Tansley, we only want to find out the truth. We can't charge Boakes for something that we feel he didn't do. Now, if your husband was shot by accident, there's no need to be afraid to tell us.
But he wasn't shot. He's never been shot. Why won't you believe me?
You're asking me to believe that your husband was wounded in the head several months ago, and neither you nor he was aware of that fact?
Why should I want to hide anything now? He's dead.
You said, why should I want to hide anything now? Now, what did you mean by that?
Nothing. Oh, I don't know what I mean. Please go away, please.
Mrs. Tansley, I'm terribly sorry, but I must ask you once again. When was your husband shot? How did it happen?
He wasn't. It never happened. He wasn't shot.
You have lived together as man and wife during the past year without separation?
Yes.
And during that time, you state that he never received a bullet wound in his head?
Never. I told you.
There is no doubt in your mind that the man you identified at the yard is your husband.
Yes, he is. Oh, stop it, please stop.
How long have you been married?
15 years. Why don't you please?
Mrs. Tansley, I'm afraid I must ask you to come with me. I'm not satisfied with your story. If you wish to telephone your solicitor, I suggest that you do so. At once.
When you suffer from irregularity and take mineral oil for relief, chances are that you're getting only halfway relief. You see, irregularity is frequently accompanied by acid indigestion, and when this is the case, you need a preparation that combines laxative action with antacid action to bring you thorough relief. Now, plain mineral oil can't do this because it's powerless to combat the acid indigestion. But a remarkable preparation called Haley's M.O. combines the correct proportions of pure mineral oil with the finest milk of magnesia. As a result, Haley's M.O. gives you thorough relief. It not only relieves irregularity, but acid upset as well. And Haley's M.O. is so gentle that patients use it on their doctor's recommendation following delicate abdominal operations. When you see how much more Haley's M.O. does for you, you'll be amazed that its cost is only about the same as high-grade mineral oil. When you buy, ask for it by name. You can identify Haley's M.O. by the big blue letters M-O on the package.
Now, the second act of Pursuit and the Man Who Died Late.
I took Mrs. Tansley to the yard. Her statements were so unbelievable as to leave no other choice. I couldn't formally charge her with murder, since murder had not yet been proven, but at least we needed an opportunity to ascertain the date and manner of the attack on Martin Tansley. Here I met with no success. Her declarations were unswerving.
I don't care anymore. I don't care what you do to me. There's nothing else I can say. Martin was never shot in the head. I don't own a gun. Neither of us ever did. You're making it all up. I know you are.
That a man could walk about with a bullet in his brain was one thing, but that his wife would testify that she had no knowledge of such a fact, that seemed impossible. I left her to confer with her solicitor, Mr. Bernard Lucky, and sat with Moffat in my office.
She must have done it, sir. Otherwise, why lie about it?
I don't know, Moffat. I've got a horrible feeling that she's telling the truth.
After what she's been saying? Oh, I don't think so, sir.
I know. It's daft, but...
This is Dr. Bishop speaking.
Oh, hello, Doctor. Black here.
Hello. How's that lovely case turning out?
I wish I knew. Look here, would you come up for a minute or two? The man's wife is here. I'm holding her for questioning.
Good show. I don't know how you do it.
I haven't done it. She insists that Tansley had never been shot, that it's ridiculous even to suggest it, because Tansley couldn't have hidden the fact even if he'd wanted to.
What?
Well, I have to assume that she's lying, but...
I say, that's absolutely marvelous. It might have happened.
Oh?
I mean, I've heard of a case, some poor old boy shot in the head and didn't know it.
Oh, no, that can't be.
Oh, yes. I'll pop up and tell you about it. Shan't be a sec.
All right, now, how did it happen?
Old boy, about 65. He took a walk. It was in the country, you know. Some small boys were playing with a rifle. A bullet entered the right frontal lobe, but under the hair. Victim had a fine shock of hair, much like Tansley. He thought a bee had stung him. Went home, slight headache, no blood, nothing. In 4 hours or so, he'd forgotten all about it. Died 7 months later. Just rolled over. Same thing.
I'll be dashed. Moffat, ask Mrs. Tansley and Mr. Lockie to come in, would you?
Right, sir. Mrs. Tansley?
It might be, mightn't it?
As a doctor, I'm never surprised at anything. One day I'll tell you
I
about...
think this has gone far enough, Inspector. You know as well as I do that Mrs.
Please, will you
Tansley...
sit down, Mr. Lockie? I believe you've met Dr. Bishop.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Mrs. Tansley, as you know, you are not under arrest. There are just 1 or 2 more questions I must ask, and then you're free to leave.
Hasn't she been through enough?
I'm sorry. Now, Mrs. Tansley, you say that your husband was employed in an architectural capacity.
Yes.
Please, will you think very carefully before you answer? Can you recall that at any time on his return from the office he complained of a headache? An unusually severe headache?
Possibly, madam. A slight lump or contusion under the hair. Here.
Had he been fighting with anyone?
Ellen, you'd better tell them everything.
It has nothing to do with this. Martin's dead. Why bring it up again? The children...
Because what you know may be the reason for his death.
Yes, I suppose so. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Lockie.
My husband had been seeing another woman.
When was that?
About a year ago.
He stopped seeing her?
I found out, and he said he would stop because of the children.
How long ago?
A year ago.
Now, to go back to my earlier question.
I can only remember once. I think it was soon after he'd promised never to see that woman again. He came home. It was very late. He said he'd bumped his head.
Here, possibly?
I don't remember. It may have been. He was quite drunk.
Did he tell you where he had been?
No, but I knew.
Oh, well, then he continued to see this woman.
I think so. I was never sure. Things were different after that. I didn't trust him.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you tell us, Mrs. Tansley, the woman's name?
I don't know. I only knew there was someone else.
Moffat, please.
Yes, sir.
Now, I must ask you to remember the date
Chief
as
Inspector Black's
exactly as
office.
possible.
Detective
When your
Sergeant
husband returned home after bumping his head.
I don't know. Last year, I think.
Well, it can make a tremendous difference.
repeat that?
Will you try to remember exactly when?
It was on a Saturday. I know because he'd promised to take the children to the zoo on Sunday.
Oh, I see.
Right, thanks very much.
One moment, please. Yes, Moffat?
Physical laboratory, sir. Report on the bullet. 25 caliber from an Italian-made gun. Bernadelli automatic.
Right. Now go on, Mrs. Tansley. You said you knew it was a Saturday a year ago.
Yes.
September or October?
The end of September, I think, or the beginning of October. I'm sorry.
No, that's quite all right. You're being very helpful. Moffat, hand me the calendar, will you?
Yes, sir. Here you are, sir.
Thank you. Let's see. September 1950. Yes, the last Saturday in September was the 30th. And the first Saturday in October would have been the 7th.
It was September. Then I remember now, because Martin didn't feel like writing out a check for the rent, which is due on the 2nd. I had to do it.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tansley. Now, please forgive me for bringing you here. I hope you understand. Policemen make mistakes, too.
May I go now?
Oh, yes. And if it will help, I may say that whoever shot your husband will be caught and dealt with. I can promise you that.
It won't make much difference to the children, will it? They won't have their father anymore. At least he loved them.
We had something to go on. The date of the shooting. I was reasonably certain of that now. The type of weapon, an automatic, which we knew was, because of its small size, used by women. And we had a possible motive, a spurned woman. We began to look for the killer. Black here.
Moffat, sir. I've got a list of the registered and licensed Bernadelli pistols.
Long list?
I'm afraid so, sir.
Well, you better get to work on it.
Right, sir. Inspector Mallinson?
Oh, hello. Black speaking. I say, do you want a job?
Not particularly, but for you, anything.
Oh, I'm glad you feel that way. Run down to Tansley's office, McIntosh and Kenny. They're architects. You find out everything you can about Tansley. Question everybody.
Cherchez la femme, hey?
You speak French beautifully.
Merci.
See if you can do it.
What?
Find her.
Oh, that. You know, I do so admire you, sir. You've no idea what a pleasure it is to...
I went to the taxicab stand near Tansley's office, questioned the drivers who had been in the district for a year or more. One remembered something. He had driven Tansley to the corner of Haymarket and Shaftesbury Avenue several times. There, the deceased had got out and joined a woman. A young woman, rather simply dressed. The driver thought that she might be a shop girl. After that interview, I joined Moffat with his list of persons known to have owned Bernadelli automatics. 4 days later, we had narrowed our search down to 6 possible suspects. 2 women and 4 men. We decided to question the woman to begin with. The first was a Miss Anna Patterson of 128 Graham Road, Hackney. Miss Patterson wasn't in, but the owner of the flats who lived on the premises assured us that she would return at 6 o'clock. It was then 5:15. We decided to wait. At 5:45, I rang through to the yard to see if Mallinson had turned up anything.
Hello, sir. Good hunting. Where are you?
Waiting for a woman.
They never keep me waiting. Got some news for you.
Oh?
Nasty little sneak at Tansley's office. Didn't like the man and thought we ought to know about the woman Tansley was playing about with.
Know her name?
Well, the nasty little sneak hated to sneak, but he ran into them one day, and Tansley introduced her. Anna Patterson. 128 Graham Road, Hackney. I got the address myself. Aren't you proud of me?
Terribly. We're there now. Thanks, Mallinson. She came in at 6:05. A pretty, dark-haired girl, quite young, who seemed by her manner immediately to sense who we were. I asked to speak to her in her flat, and she led us upstairs. The place, well, it was much as I had expected. Dark, cold, and lonely.
What was it you wanted to see me about, please?
You own a .25 caliber Bernadelli automatic pistol?
Oh, no.
According to the registration, you do.
Oh, yes, I did, but not anymore.
Uh-huh. Can you tell us what happened to it?
I lost it, I think.
When?
I don't remember.
I see. Do you know a man named Martin Tansley?
No, I've never heard of that name.
Oh, now, miss, I don't think this is going to do any good. Martin Tansley died last week of a bullet fired into his head a year ago. I think that you fired that bullet.
No, I didn't.
Well, I have a warrant to search your flat. Moffat?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to tell us why? I must warn you that anything you say will be taken down and given in evidence.
No, I mean, I really don't know what you're talking about.
Well, then, I put it to you that Martin Tansley came to you and either for the first time spoke of his wife or informed you that she was aware of your relationship and that he wanted to break it off. In your anger, you shot him. No. Where did it happen?
A few days after he told me, Hackney Marsh. We'd gone out for a last drink. I begged him to divorce her and marry me. He said no. I shot at him. He fell down. I thought he was dead. I ran away. And he rang me up a few days later.
Was he quite drunk when you shot him?
Yes. I don't think he remembered my shooting at him. He thought we'd had a fight, that was all. I was glad that I'd missed.
And you continued to see each other?
Yes, until a week or so ago. Then I read about his dying. That man in the park who hit him.
Here it is, sir.
Thank you. One shot fired. You didn't miss him when you fired, Miss Patterson.
Oh, yes, I did. He was all right. I know he was. He must have been.
No, Miss Patterson. He died from the effects of the bullet fired from this gun. The bullet you fired into his head.
Oh, no, I don't believe you. You're lying. I didn't.
We took the girl back with us to the yard. She was committed for trial and later found guilty of murder. However, a recommendation of mercy was proposed, and she is now serving a 15-year sentence in Holloway. Pursuit. And the pursuit is ended.
Pursuit is produced and directed by Elliott Lewis and written by Anthony Ellis. Music was composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter. Ben Wright stars as Inspector Peter Black with Raymond Lawrence as Sergeant Moffat. Featured in tonight's story were Betty Harford, Norma Varden, Edgar Barrier, Alec Harford, and William Johnstone. If you have to shave once a day, that's bad enough. But when you shave twice a day, the scrape and pull, the continuous scrape and pull of a razor over the same places time and time again makes your face hurt and burn and sting in a way that's plain murder. Murder, that is, till you start using Molay brushless shaving cream. Then you'll discover that shaving even twice a day is a cinch. One reason for this is Molay's body, a real body that sets your whiskers up in a way no skimpy, watery cream can match and takes the painful scrape and pull right out of shaving. And Molay's abundance of soothing lanolin actually conditions your skin while you shave, leaves your face feeling refreshed and supple without a trace of burn or sting. Try Molay, the cream that means comfort even if you shave twice a day, even if you shave with cold water or hard water. Buy the brushless shaving cream that combines real body with abundant lanolin and takes the scrape and pull right out of shaving. Ask for Molle, Molay.
We invite you to join us next week at this same time when Pursuit will bring you another dramatic story of the famous Inspector Peter Black of Scotland Yard, relentlessly hunting down those whose disordered passions breed violence and murder. Another story of man hunting man when we bring you Pursuit.
Joe Walter speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.
That was Pursuit with the Man Who Died Late, as originally heard October 2nd, 1951. And with that wraps up hour number 1. Comedy and mystery await us for hour number 2, which begins right after these messages. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Classic Radio Rewind. We kick off this second hour with an episode from The Bob Hope Show. This episode marks the end of his long-running program, The Bob Hope Show, which had been a staple on the radio since the 1930s. From April 21st, 1955, this is Bob's final radio show from The Bob Hope Show.
The American Dairy Association, the nation's dairy farmers, presents The Bob Hope Show, transcribed direct from Hollywood with Les Brown and his band of renown. For the American Dairy Association, whose dairy farmers produce the world's finest family of delicious, healthful foods, yours truly, Bill Goodwin. Our guest star, Jerry Colonna. Our singing star, Margaret Whiting. And here he is, Bob Hope.
Thank you very, very much. Here I am again for the American Dairy Association and their 5 million cows. You know, really, I consider myself the luckiest person in show business. Who else has 5 million sponsors who are very happy, very contented, and give milk, too? Now, just yesterday, the American Dairy Association took a group picture of all of their employees. It's easy to spot me. I'm the one who's standing on his hind legs. But I'm so happy to be doing this show. You know, a lot of work goes into these shows, getting the guest stars, conferences with the writers, commercials, rehearsals. You've no idea how hard it is to do all that while you're sitting on a milking stool. Actually, though, milking a cow isn't too complicated. You've just got to remember a few points. And it's been wonderful. But it's been a wonderful season working for the American Dairy Association and their 5 million cows. They made me feel like one of the family. You know, the head of the American Dairy Association says there's no drink like fresh milk, and he practices what he preaches. In his office, instead of a water cooler, he has a cow sitting in the corner. And it's very easy to get a drink. You just walk up, say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and hold a paper cup under Mo. Anyway, we're having a real summer weather out here in Los Angeles. Summer weather. In L.A., that means the smog is growing warmer. Smog is a haze that we have out here that makes everything look like early television. In fact, it's getting so bad now they may film Dragnet somewhere else. Sergeant Frieday's been searching for 3 days, and he still hasn't found last week's crook. I saw him sneaking down the street yesterday, and the crook was following him. And I want to tell you that everybody in the country and the world is thrilled about the new Salk anti-polio vaccine. It's a wonderful thing. And I understand they're now working on a vaccine that's even more amazing. It's guaranteed to make Mario Lanza sing. Now, I hear Mario's coming out with a new album. It's called Lanza Doesn't Sing Again. It's on a long-playing pizza. There are a lot of theories as to why Lanza didn't go on in Las Vegas. Some people say he overdid his dieting and his tonsils disappeared. But I happen to know the real inside story. Actually, Lanza didn't quit. Godfrey fired him. Godfrey's still at it, you know. The other day he fired the network. Now imagine 9 of them going at one time. That Godfrey show loses more people than the Medic. He's coming out with an entirely new show next week. It's called Arthur Godfrey and the Survivors. And I see by the papers that King Farouk is looking for a job. At first I couldn't believe it. How can he find time with all his hobbies? I understand Egypt offered their former king an ice cream job with a big title, Grand General in charge of the hydraulic embellishment of national monuments, washing pyramids. He did get one legitimate offer, but then when they found out who was advertising, they withdrew it. They didn't think King Farouk was a suitable person for the job, night watchman at the YWCA. Of course, King Farouk isn't starving. He's still in good shape. Errol Flynn offered him $20,000 for his address book. Farouk offered Errol $30,000 for his, and I hope he gets something. I hope he gets something soon because he's really broke. In fact, he's so broke he can't even pay his amusement tax. And with Farouk, that could be tragic. You know that. Of course, out here, nobody's interested in working in television or radio or the movies anymore. Everybody wants to get into that new medium, Las Vegas. Oh, I want to tell you, it's really fabulous. They're paying such huge salaries, you can earn enough working a week on the stage to spend 20 minutes at the roulette table. And the big hotels will do anything to get movie names down there. They offered David Niven $50,000 in his own suite, but he couldn't take it. He's married. And they offered Clark Gable $50,000 in his own bungalow, Sinatra $50,000 in his own iron lung, Lassie $50,000 in a private tree. And I've just had an offer to go to Las Vegas myself. Can you imagine a hotel being able to offer a comedian $60,000 a week? Well, can you imagine them offering me $30,000 a week? $5,000? Well, anyway, the bus fare's guaranteed. In desserts, like lots of other things, it's the good old-time favorites that are so often the best. Right, Ed Prentice?
It certainly is, Bob. Now, take old-fashioned strawberry shortcake, for instance. You just can't beat the marvelous combination of fresh, juicy strawberries, tender shortcake biscuits, and pure, wholesome cream. Of course, you can use Bisquick to save time and for extra goodness mixed with cream. While the shortcakes are hot, be sure to spread on lots of golden butter to brighten the flavor. Then add the crushed strawberries and finally the mellow goodness of real cream. Now there is truly a magnificent dessert. Old-fashioned strawberry shortcake. And it's the real cream that makes the difference. Don't forget that wonderful tasting cream, either whipped or plain, is especially rich in vitamin A and in the other important food values of milk. So enjoy lots of cream with strawberry shortcake this season. Cream adds the perfect flavor touch. makes a fitting climax to any meal.
You betcha. Say, Bill.
Yeah, Rob?
Well, Bill, this is the last show of the season. You and the rest of the cast have done a great job, so I want to really show my appreciation.
Oh, now, Bob, you don't have to go overboard.
I don't have to go overboard?
Well, of course not. Now, how are you thinking of showing your appreciation, Rob?
By saying thank you.
Gee, you didn't even dip your little Tootsie in, did you?
Don't jump to conclusions, White Fang. As a matter of fact, I have some nice presents for everyone in the cast.
Oh, really? What'd you get?
Well, Les Brown and his musicians have done a wonderful job all season, and they went up to Greenland with me, so I got them $100 money clips.
Well, gee, really, Bob?
Yep, each money clip is guaranteed to hold $100. If you fold it right. And I've got a nice present for you, Bill.
Yeah.
A week with all expenses at a hotel just outside of Las Vegas.
Oh, gee, that's swell, Bob. Which one is it? The Desert Inn, Thunderbird, Sands, Sahara, New Frontier?
No, this is a little further outside Las Vegas than any of those, Bill. It's called the Yucca Flats Motel.
The Yucca Flats Motel? I don't think I've ever heard of that place, Bob. Is it air-conditioned?
No, but it may be by the time you get there. You'll love it. The lobby is very exciting. You never know who's going to blow in.
Hi, fellas. What's going on?
Oh, we've just been discussing the fact that it's the end of the season, Maggie, our last show.
Well, what about it?
Well, what about it? Don't you feel any sentiment about the sponsor or toward us, our wonderful sponsor?
Well, Bob, of course I do. I'll never forget the American Dairy Association, or you either, Bob. Every time I stick my spoon into a blob of cottage cheese, I'll think of you.
Thanks a heap.
So this is your last radio show till fall.
That's right, Maggie, but I'm still on television. I'm doing a TV show next Tuesday night over the NBC network with a lot of wonderful guests. Lloyd Nolan, the lovely French singing star, Lean Reynaud, Mary Olanza's agent, John Foster Dulles, Chiang Kai-shek. And as a special added attraction, Winnie Ruth Judd, if she can get away.
Well, after the TV shows, I suppose you'll take a vacation, huh?
Yeah, well, my plans haven't quite crystallized yet, Bill. I can't decide whether to go motoring through Italy with Tyrone Power, or yachting in the Mediterranean with Ava Gardner, or grouse shooting in Scotland with Princess Margaret.
Well, how'd you spend last summer, Bob?
Slugging gophers in Death Valley with Gabby Hayes. You know, the jackpot prize on Break the Bank isn't what it used to be. I'll get it. Hello?
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 That's what I like about this show, sparkling dialogue.
Well, it's Professor Colonna. Well, how are you tonight, Beaver Lip?
In the pink.
In the pink?
Yes, the blue ones are in the laundry.
It's a revival meeting, yes, sir.
Hold the phone a minute, Hope. Come here, honey.
Oh, Professor.
Sit on my knee. Put your arms around my neck.
What's going on there, Colonna?
I'm conducting a scientific investigation.
Oh, Professor.
A scientific investigation? What are you trying to find out?
What Lola wants.
Colonna, you're living in a fool's paradise.
Okay, if I use your guest towels.
Professor, you ought to be here tonight as a special occasion.
It is?
That's right. I'm going off the air.
You're going off the air? Yeah.
What's the matter?
How you going to breathe?
Colonna, you're out of your mind.
Yes, and I'm glad. It was getting kind of stuffy in there.
Well, what are you going to do till we return in the fall, Professor?
Oh, I'm starting my own program, Hope.
Your own program? Who's on it?
Oh, just me and Gina Lollobrigida, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Lana Turner, Marilyn Monroe. Going to be a warm summer.
Hey, Colonna, you're doing a show with Gina Lollobrigida and Zsa Zsa Gabor and Lana Turner and Marilyn Monroe?
That's right.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry, old chap, but the answer is no.
No?
We've got all the help we need.
Well, that figures. Well, it sounds like a good show, Colonna. Who's the sponsor?
Don't know.
What type of program is it?
I don't know.
What time are you on the air?
Don't know.
Professor, you're doing a show with Gina and Marilyn and Lana and Zsa Zsa. You don't know anything about it? How can that be?
I don't ask questions. I just have fun.
There we go. Oh, I love it. Thanks for the memories. Say, Kelowna, don't let everyone know you come from a family of morons.
Okay, Pop.
Look, Professor, I won't be seeing you for a while. This is goodbye.
Well, I'll miss you, old pal. The sun in the sky won't shine with the same brightness while you're gone. The flowers in the fields will bow their pretty heads. The birds in the trees will sing a sad refrain. The dew of the morning will seem like tears. Even the winds of the desert will be stilled. Farewell, dear friend. Farewell.
What a beautiful sentiment. Professor, I never knew you felt this way about me.
I don't. I'm just moving my lips. That was a tape recording. So long, Hope.
So long, Broomhead. Just for that, I won't throw any food in his cage tonight. Here she is, Margaret Whiting, backed up by Les Brown and his gypsies, doing whatever Lola wants. Come in, Maggie.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little man, little Lola wants you. Make up your mind to have no regrets. Recline yourself, resign yourself, you're through. I always get what I aim for, and your heart and soul is what I came for. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Take off your coat, don't you know you can't win? You're no exception to the rule. I'm irresistible, you fool. Give in, give in. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. A little man, little Lola wants you. Make up your mind to have no regrets. Recline yourself, resign yourself, you're through. I always get what I aim for, and your heart and soul is what I came for. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Take off your coat, don't you know you can't win? You're no exception to the rule. I'm irresistible, you fool. Give in, give out, give in.
Find out what that kid wants. We'll send to Will Wright's. Ed Prentice, you were talking about cream with fresh strawberries a moment ago. I'd just like to say that I prefer my cream whipped.
Well, lots of Bob. Yes, sir, a snow cap of whipped cream cascading down over juicy red ripe berries looks gorgeous, tastes terrific. Most everybody agrees on that. Now, when it comes to the shortcake underneath those big, beautiful strawberries, you're smart to use Bisquick to get the real, for sure, old-fashioned kind. And as Bob said, top the whole elegant dessert with lots of cream. It's nature's finest topping, just as it comes from the cream bottle or when it's whipped to smooth perfection. Let whipped cream dress up other desserts for you, too, such as homemade sundaes, certain pies, or even leftover puddings. Just remember that cream makes the magic difference, transforms the simplest food into a superb treat. Add lots of wonderful flavor with real cream. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like everyone else, comedians worry about holding on to their jobs, especially when it's the last show of the season and they don't know if they're going to be back on the air in the fall. Now, even the world's most talented comedians worry a little bit. Those with average talent worry a lot. And comedians with no talent at all... Oh, well, I think I better drop the subject, but you can imagine how Bob feels. To give you an idea how worried Bob is, let's go back to this morning when he and I were walking along Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills.
Come on, Bill.
Gee, Bob, what are we doing in this ritzy shopping section?
Well, you know, I haven't heard from NBC whether I'm going to be back in the air in the fall, so I thought I'd buy the president of the network a little gift. You know, sort of a reminder, a present, a token.
The secret word for tonight is bribe.
Down, Steinway head. Don't ever faint when you're in the May Company, Bill. Those teeth look like an ivory escalator.
What kind of a gift were you looking for, Rob?
Well, the president of NBC, Pat Weaver, is a great outdoors man, so I thought he's a mountain boy,
Mhm.
and ever since he was a kid, he's loved the woods.
Oh, he loves the woods, huh?
Yeah, killed him a bar when he was only 3.
Well, sir, in that case, why don't you give him your Davy Crockett coonskin cap?
I can't. I loaned it to Crosby. He's going formal tonight.
Well, if you want a gift for an outdoor man, Rob, let's go in this store right here, the Beverly Hills Sporting Goods Shop.
Okay.
Ooh, gee, what a ritzy place.
Hey, this is a very fine shop, Bill. Jeff Chandler wouldn't think of buying his poison arrows anywhere else.
I wonder if they have anything so crude as a clerk around here.
Well, I'll ask that man over there in the cutaway coat and striped trousers. Pardon me.
What can I do for you?
Say, are you the clerk?
No, of course I'm not the clerk. I'm Winston Churchill. Now that I've retired from number 10 Downing Street, I'm spending the twilight of my career dusting out the holes in these bowling balls. What can I do for you?
Well, for one thing, you can stop getting such big laughs. No, what I want to tell you is, I want to get some sporting equipment.
What kind?
Well, I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Do you think some golf clubs would be nice for a man who's a little overweight and needs some exercise?
Oh, they'd be just dandy. Step right over here and I'll show you a set, Chubby.
Chubby? I haven't got an ounce of fat on me. I'm 170 pounds of solid flab.
You just step this way, please.
Bob, are you sure that Pat Weaver likes golf? You know, I've heard he does a lot of fishing.
He does it well, doesn't he? Say, yeah, that's me. That's an idea. Say, clerk, I'm buying a gift for a friend, and he's quite a fisherman. What would you suggest?
Well, how about this fine aluminum fishing rod for $500?
No, that's too much.
Well, we have a glass fishing rod for $300. Or a steel rod for $200.
Look, what can I get for about $10?
A branch from a pussy willow tree with the pussy willow shaved off.
Never mind, we'll just browse around. We'll call you when we need you.
Very well, but we have many small items here, the kind you can slip in your pocket. So let me warn you, there's a city ordinance against shoplifting.
Now, wait a minute. Are you saying I'm a crook?
I'm not saying anything, but I know one thing. You didn't get those mean, shifty little eyes counting marshmallows for the campfire girl.
Quiet, or I'll pull the string and your eyelashes will fall off.
Oh, come on, Rob. Let's look at this fishing tackle. There's some wonderful trout flies here.
Yes, that one you're looking at happens to be a Royal Coachman trout fly.
Pardon me. I think I know more about this than you do. That's a purple splendor trout fly, and it's not for mountain streams. It's for lake fishing. I happen to be an authority on fishing.
I can believe it.
You can?
Yes, your nose looks like it's swimming upstream to spawn.
That does it. Come on, Bill. We'll take our business somewhere else. Who wants their stuff anyway?
We have several items on sale at reduced prices.
Well, you can keep it. I wouldn't take anything from this store if you were giving it away. You've insulted me, you've questioned my honesty, and you've ridiculed me. I'll never come in this store again as long as I live.
Well, what an outburst. Sensitive little flower, wasn't he? Oh, you're back again. What is it this time?
Would you please validate my parking ticket?
Good afternoon. This is the National Broadcasting Company. One moment, I'll connect you. National Broadcasting Company. Yes, Mr. Smith, here's your party.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hello, Mr. Hope. What can I do for you?
Well, I'd like to see the president of the network.
The president?
Yes, the end of the season. I haven't heard that I'm going to be back in the air in the fall.
Oh, you don't have to worry, Mr. Hope. The big boss says you're the funniest comedian NBC ever had. And you get the biggest laughs of anybody in the business.
He said that? When?
Just this morning on the phone. He was trying to trade you to CBS for Jack Benny.
Jack Benny? He's no comic. He couldn't even get a laugh when he was working under the name of Evelyn and her magic violin.
The president of CBS absolutely refused to do it.
Trying to trade me for Jack Benny. That's like swapping Marilyn Monroe and getting Ma Kettle.
Yeah, that's what the president of CBS said.
Whose side are you on? Look, just tell the big boss I'm here, will you?
He's not busy. You can go right in.
Thank you. Which way?
Right through the store, Mr. Hope.
Oh, hi, Mr. Weaver. Say, it's great to see you again. Oh, wait a minute. You're not Mr. Weaver.
That is correct.
Well, who are you?
Allow me to introduce myself. You are in the presence of the wealthiest man in the universe, Hubert Updike III.
Well, you could have remained seated in your chair. Why do you stand up when you say your name?
Out of respect. I'm in my presence, too.
Well, I must be in the wrong office. I wanted to see the president of NBC.
I am the president of NBC and the owner. Dear old Dad bought it for me for my birthday.
Your father bought you NBC for your birthday? Your family must really be loaded.
Oh, we are. We have oodles and more oodles. We're so wealthy, we think Strike It Rich is a comedy show.
Well, I'm very happy to meet you, Mr. Updike. I have a present for you, too.
Yes? Well, what is it?
This bag of golf clubs.
Oh, what a shame. I already have some. Mater bought me a set of 4 golf clubs for Christmas.
Only 4 clubs?
Oh, they're beautiful ones. 3 of them have swimming pools.
Yes, they're the best kind. Now, then you do play golf, huh?
Oh, do I play? Oh, definitely. I belong to the most exclusive golf club in the world, the Lakeside Country Club. It was very expensive to build. It has 18 holes.
Yeah, well, all golf clubs have 18 holes.
Indoors?
Oh, yes, I've seen the place. Howard Hughes has the washroom concession. Yes.
Well, you know, it's the most exclusive club in the entire world. We just had a very successful membership drive.
Really?
Yes, we drove out 300 members.
You drove them out?
Yes, well, we had to, you see. Several upstarts had managed to weasel in who only had $3 or $4 million. How sneaky can you get? Imagine only $3 or $4 million.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those wetbacks. Now, tell me, Hubert, how did your family make all their money?
In oil. You see, we've always been in oil. You've seen that famous sign, the Flying Red Horse?
Yes.
Dad posed for it. Dear old Dad is still digging for oil, but he's getting very, very discouraged.
He's getting discouraged? Why?
Well, he keeps striking uranium.
Well, some people are just born unlucky. Now, what's wrong with uranium?
Well, nothing, except my family is very much against the atom bomb.
You're against the atom bomb? Why?
Well, we understand it kills rich people, too. And when dear old Dad heard that, he wrote a letter to the government. We're calling off the test.
You're calling off the test? How can you do that?
We're taking back Nevada.
Well, this has been very interesting, Hubert, and I'm glad you're the new owner of the network. I'll just leave these golf clubs, and I hope you'll keep me in mind when you need a comedian.
No. I'm afraid you're too late. I've just hired a comedian. In fact, he's in the next office now.
You've hired a comedian? Who is he?
Oh, he's a very funny chap with bulging eyes, a high voice, and a big black mustache.
Big black mustache? You don't mean... Oh, no, it can't be.
Want to bet?
Colonna, you went behind my back and took my job away from me?
Well, the salary's very good, and I thought that...
Thief, double-crosser, rat, viper, skunk.
Keep going, you're getting warm.
Colonna, you're a low-down, despicable, crawling, two-faced snake in the grass.
Please, Hope, that's no way to talk to a man who is suffering from an incurable disease.
Oh, well, gee, I didn't know, Professor. You're suffering from an incurable disease? What is it?
Poverty.
Well, that does it, you double-crosser. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Put up your hands.
No. Let's settle this like gentlemen. There is no need for fisticuffs. I'll flip this coin, and the job goes to the winner. Call it.
Heads. Tails. Egad, it went out the window. There it is, way down there on the sidewalk.
Oh, did it come up heads or tails, Kelowna? I can't see. Is it heads or tails?
Lean out the window a little further, Hope.
Well, I still can't see it.
Lean out a little further. A little further. Just a teensy-winsy bit further.
Whoops.
What do you know? He came up tails.
Say, by the way, I hope a lot of you listeners have had a chance to try butter dips since we told you about them last week. This brand new hot bread recipe created by Betty Crocker appears in May Ladies' Home Journal. Butter dips are easier than biscuits, better than rolls. They're dipped in real butter, baked in real butter. So make it a point to try this crispy, good hot bread right away. Golden brown butter dips. They're grand for guests, and even more than your guests, your family deserves real butter.
Oh, thanks for the memory to all our loyal friends on whom our show depends. You've been just great, we'd like to state, as now the season ends, that we thank you very much. April 27th, we'll be in the Las Vegas area. All you folks out there, we'll be at the Desert Inn for that big Damon Runyon Cancer Fund golf tournament with all the champions of the country. And I'll have my usual annual putting contest with Mr. Walter Winchell. I give him a handicap of 2 holes as usual. That's on April 27th. And May the 4th, we'll be in Albuquerque with a lot of stars for the Arthritis and Rheumatism Fund. And you folks around the Tucson area, be there May the 7th, a big show for the Mental Health Hospital. And ladies and gentlemen, this is our last radio show for the season. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the American Dairy Association and the dairy farmers for making it all possible. My sincere thanks, too, to you at home for tuning us in every Thursday evening. It's been a wonderful association with a lot of grand people who've worked very hard to bring you these weekly sessions, like our writers Norman Sullivan and Charles Lee, announcer Bill Goodman, producer Jack Hope, engineers Johnny Pollock and Johnny Teal, sound man Parker Cannell, script girl Annie Wizen, NBC's Homer Welsh, and last but not least, our own Maggie Whiting and Les Brown and the band. Thanks from all of us for the memory of a grand season, and good night.
The American Dairy Association, the nation's dairy farmers, have brought you the Bob Hope Show, an NBC Radio Network production written by Norman Sullivan and Charles Lee, transcribed direct from Hollywood, California. Remember, never outgrow your need for milk.
That was Bob Hope's final radio show from April 21st, 1955. Lastly, on Classic Radio Rewind, we join up with E.G. Marshall and the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. This episode has Montre Sword deciding to seek revenge against a man named Fortunato who has insulted him. So, from the original air date of February 12th, 1974, this is the CBS Radio Mystery Theater with host E.G. Marshall with the episode titled, you guessed it, The Cask of Amontillado.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Lord Byron, if I recall correctly, first said, "Sweet is revenge. But revenge is mine, saith the Lord," according to the Bible. The truth would seem to be that sweet indeed is revenge, while the moment lasts. But the victim of revenge will himself be avenged, one way or another, by a power not of this world, surely the power of God. In any case, had Arno Montresor not revenged himself on Fortunato Bellini and enjoyed to the full that moment of sweetness, he would never have experienced the shock and terror that surged through him when Inspector Murdaro said,
Arno, I arrest you for the murder of Fortunato Bellini.
Me? You arrest me? For murder?
Playing the innocent will do you no good, Arno. I've got you dead to rights. I have found the body.
Impossible. You couldn't. I mean to say you...
You just slipped. How would you know it was impossible if you didn't know where the body was? But that was your second slip, Arno. A slip you wouldn't have made if you hadn't made the first.
The first?
Yes. You committed the perfect crime, my friend. Perfect except for one single, simple little mistake.
What mistake? What mistake?
Our mystery drama, The Cask of Amontillado, was especially adapted from the Edgar Allan Poe classic For the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Richard Kiley. We were talking about revenge, I believe. Yes, revenge. An emotion, a passion that came to burn fiercely in the breast of a certain wine grower named Arno Montresor, a consuming fire he at last managed to quench with, oddly enough, a cask, a barrel of Amontillado sherry. It all began, this strange and terrifying tale, at the famous Montresor vineyards in Tuscany, Italy. There, on a certain day, in the office of Arno Montresor, Fortunato Bellini sealed his doom.
But I must have the 1923 vintage, Arno. No other Amontillado will do. You must manage to find more for me.
I would if I could perform miracles, but I can't. I've been in touch with every wine grower, every merchant in Spain. I've scoured all of Mantilla, where Amontillado is made. I can't find even a bottle of the 23 vintage, and you ask for barrels, casks.
Well, a bottle is only a drop to me, you know that. You wouldn't be trying to raise the price on me.
What?
Considering the money you owe me, the loans I've made you, I wouldn't be surprised if you...
Are you out of your mind, Fortunato? How could I possibly make enough money to pay you back by raising the price of the Amontillado you drink? You don't drink that much.
Which is why I have my suspicions about you, Arno.
What are you...
The catacombs beneath your vineyard. You took me down to the 3rd level not so long ago and showed me. Why, there must have been at least a half-dozen casks of Amontillado.
More than a year ago. There weren't a half-dozen, there were only 4. And you've drunk them all. If there is one bottle, one drop of 1923 Amontillado left in Spain, in the world, I can't find it for you. Now, this discussion is at an end.
Not altogether. I have another matter to take up with you. The money you owe me.
Well, what about it? I've been paying the interest regularly.
But I need the principal. Business has been bad, and I'm in need of money. I'm afraid, Arno, I must ask you to repay me.
Repay? Fortunato, I don't think you realize what you're asking. I'm in no position at this time to... Come in. Ah, Margarita, my dearest.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, darling. And you, Signor Bellini.
You do disturb me, Signora Montresor. Always. But not in the way you mean.
Well, what is it, Margarita?
Tonio is waiting to see you. It's urgent, he says.
What's the trouble?
Something about the dampness in the 3rd level of the catacombs. He says it's getting worse and changing the temperature.
Yes, the dampness is increasing down there. I'll talk to him in a few minutes.
Very well, darling. Good to see you, Signor Bellini.
It's more than good to see you, Signora. It is a feast to my eyes.
I can't help noticing. Good day.
She seemed offended with me, your wife.
You never took your eyes off her.
Oh, can you blame me? So young, so...
About the money I owe you, Fortunato.
1 week, Arno.
1 week?
You know our agreement. The loan's payable on demand, or...
Or you can sell me out, but there was never any thought of that.
There is now, I'm afraid.
But you wouldn't. You can't.
I must. I need the money.
You've got to give me more time. I'll do anything you ask. Anything within reason.
Within reason, you say, eh?
Yes. What is it?
Well, you know how I feel about your lovely wife. Just looking at her makes me feel young again.
What are you saying?
Well, the thought has crossed my mind more than once, Arno, that what a pleasure it would be if she would come to dinner with me one night.
Well, yes, we'd be delighted to.
And not we, not you, her, alone.
If you mean what I think you mean, get out.
Very well. Arno...
Get out, I said!
I'm going. But remember, you have 1 week from today.
All the filthy, obscene... Yes, come in.
I just saw Signor Bellini leave. If you can see Tonio now... Arno, what is it?
Oh, nothing.
Something's happened to upset you. I can see it in your face. What is it?
Oh, Bellini, he's given me a week to repay the money I owe him, or he'll sell me out.
Oh, no.
But that's not all. What got me angered was...
Yes?
He said he'd be willing to give me an extension if you'd have dinner with him.
What you mean is if I...
Yes.
Of all the thought of it. That fat, repulsive... But, Arno, darling, what are you going to do? Can he take the vineyard if you don't pay him in a week?
The vineyard, the wine stocks in the catacombs below, the house, everything.
But we'll be ruined.
Yes, ruined.
Oh, my dearest, there must be something we can do. Something.
If you think of something, Margarita, let me know.
And when the maid said you were here to see me, I didn't believe it possible. What a pleasure, Signora Montresor. What a very real pleasure to discover I was wrong.
Why would you think my paying you a visit, Signor Bellini, an impossibility?
To be altogether honest with you, Signora... Margarita, if I may say...
Of course you may, Fortunato.
I'd always thought you didn't exactly care too much for me.
To be altogether honest with you, I don't.
Then why are you here?
If you force Arno to repay what he owes you in 1 week, he'll be ruined.
Yes?
You offered to give him an extension of time if I would have dinner with you.
Yes?
I've thought about it. Suppose I came to lunch, say. Arno and I don't see much of each other during the day, and I'm often out shopping, so there'd be no need to explain where I'd been.
Wonderful.
If you cancel Arno's debt altogether.
Cancel it?
Totally.
Oh, my dear, you are as clever as you are desirable. But I'm afraid you take me for a fool.
Why?
Forgive the debt altogether and enjoy your company only once? When by giving extensions of time, I can enjoy it many times over. What do you take me for?
An extension wouldn't help very much.
But it would help when he needs help. It's either that, Margarita, or ruin for you as well as him. Lunch, then. Say tomorrow at 1?
Tomorrow at 1.
I said, where have you been all afternoon?
Arno, dearest, I told you. Shopping.
What did you buy?
Nothing. I couldn't find what I wanted. A new bag to go with those shoes I bought last week, and I thought I might find a hat to go with...
You were with Bellini. Isabella told me.
Isabella?
His daughter. You know his daughter. The one he sent to visit her aunt for the afternoon. Only the aunt wasn't at home, and she came back to find you with her father. In her father's bed.
I did it for you.
Did what for me? Shame me?
No one need ever know.
I know! Me, I know. I want to die. I have died.
Arno, darling.
Darling.
Listen to me, please listen. I love you. Only you.
I don't want to hear.
Please, oh, please. Since the day of our marriage, I have watched you work yourself to the bone to keep the Montresor vineyards going, to hold on to the heritage, your heritage of more than a century. I have so admired you for what you do, so loved you for the man, the husband you are. I couldn't bear to see you ruined, and so I helped you in the only way I knew, the only way I could. Bellini is going to extend the loans another...
The devil with the loans! And Bellini and his extensions. You stand there and tell me you couldn't bear to see me ruined, and in the same breath admit you ruined me.
No, no!
Ruin me as a man. Ruin me as a respected member of the community. You think everyone will know about this? With Isabella and her tongue? I can hear them laughing behind my back. All of them. Laughing.
Arno, I beg you don't talk this way. Isabella won't talk. No one will ever...
They will! And I can never look at you again without knowing what you did. I could never hold you in my arms. Never sleep with you again without knowing. Adulterous!
Arno!
I could kill you for what you've done to me. Kill you!
Your hand. My throat. Arno!
Kill you! Margarita. Margarita. Is dead. Yes. And you should be for what you've done. Oh, how gentle. How sweet. How beautiful and desirable. What am I to do? What am I to do? Yes. Yes, the body must be hidden. Hidden. But how? How can I... Yes. That's it. The catacombs. Alive. She's alive.
Oh, my throat.
Must work fast. Fast.
Arno, what? I can see only your head and shoulders. Where am I?
Does it matter where you are?
What are you doing?
Walling you up.
Walling me?
You know the catacombs as well as I do. The outer walls have caved in places. There are openings that can be walled up. No one the wiser to what lies behind them.
Oh, no. Arno, no.
Another stone. 2 more. Only 2 more.
I love you. I did what I did because I love you.
And I love you.
Then why are you doing this? Pull the stones away. Tear them down.
No, I cannot. I will not. You are mine, but you became his. You loved me, then you loved him.
No!
Gave yourself to him.
For your sake.
You didn't want him.
How can you say?
Because it could be true. How do I know it isn't? How would I ever know?
Oh, my God.
I can't believe that. What I just said, I don't believe. But my mind is stained with the thought. My heart is shattered by it. You must die. My darling, you must.
If killing me, revenging yourself on me, will help you, Arno, put in the last stone. There is nothing left for me now. Nothing of me but my love for you. The last stone. Put it in place.
Yes.
Yes. I love you. I love you. I
love you. I will always love you.
His heart, his soul smashed to bits, Arno Montresor sends his wife to her death, walling her up on the first and uppermost level of the catacombs. Oscar Wilde, our old friend, said, "Each man kills the thing he loves." All my life, I've never been able to understand what he meant by that. Perhaps I do now. Perhaps you do too. I'll return shortly for Act Two. Murder will out, it has been said. And yet it's hard to see how the murder of Margarita Montresor by her husband Arno will ever be discovered. For he has carefully walled her up on the top level of the catacombs beneath his vineyard. It's possible, indeed altogether likely, that had he been content with that, he would never have been found out. But a consuming passion to revenge himself on Fortunato Bellini has taken possession of him now, a passion that is to drive him into making one single, simple little mistake.
Come in, Isabella. Come in. What an unexpected pleasure. Sit down. Have a glass of wine? This Lacrima Christi is particularly good.
Thank you.
Well, now, why have you come to see me?
I'm not sure, but guilt, I suppose. Shame.
What do you mean?
The story's all over town. That you and Margarita have split up. That she's left you. Is it true?
Not entirely. I've let people believe that because I don't care what they think, but you, I can tell the truth. I threw her out.
Yes. And you can tell me the truth because I'm responsible. I'm the one who came running to tell you about her being with my father.
Is that why you feel guilty? Ashamed?
If I had minded my own business, none of this would have happened. You and Margarita would still be happily together.
A false happiness built on unfaithfulness.
Perhaps. But I had no right to do what I did. It was just that I was so surprised, so shocked at finding her with my father together. I lost my head. I must apologize, beg forgiveness.
I don't know where Margarita is, and I don't want to know. Have you told your father about finding him and Margarita together?
No, I wouldn't dare. I think he would kill me, and you must never tell him either.
Don't worry. I don't intend to. Oh, another glass?
Thank you, no. I'll go now.
Well, let me see you to the door. Carnival week begins tonight. I suppose you're looking forward to it.
You know better than that, Signor Montresor.
I know.
Everyone knows that I never go to the carnival.
Well, why not?
Come on now. You know. I can never find anyone to take me, that's why. There isn't a boy in town who'd want to be seen with anyone as plain and unattractive as me.
Plain? Unattractive? Oh. Well, you shock me. I've always thought of you as, well, anything but unattractive.
Oh, come on now.
I mean it. Well, don't misunderstand me. I mean, well, I'm almost old enough to be your father, and I wouldn't want you to think... Well, what I'm saying is, if you'd be willing to go to the carnival tonight with me...
You?
So why not? I'm alone, you're alone. We could at least be alone together. Yes, and you'd have the fun of going to the carnival at last.
Oh, I don't know.
I do. I'll call for you at 10. I won't take no for an answer.
Oh, Signor Montres.
And another thing. Call me Arno. See you at 10?
Yes.
I'll be looking forward to it.
Oh, and so will I. So will I. Arno.
Inspector Madero? The police?
Yes, senor.
What do you want with me?
A matter of routine, senor, nothing more. It's about your wife.
Yes? What about her?
It's come to our attention at headquarters that your wife is no longer living with you.
Correct.
Would you mind telling me why?
Well, we've separated.
For what reason? If you'd rather not tell...
No, I'm happy to tell. We simply couldn't get along anymore. We were incompatible. Constant quarreling. It became too much, so we decided to split up.
And she went elsewhere?
Yes.
Where?
I don't know.
You don't?
No, I don't. To tell you the truth, I don't care.
You have no idea where she might have gone? Back to her parents, perhaps? Relatives?
Well, her parents are dead. As for relatives... Why are you asking all these questions?
There is some talk of murder.
Murder? Oh, no, you mean she's met with foul play, been murdered?
No. The talk about town is that... You know how gossip spreads, senor. And of course, there's nothing to this. Still and all, the police must check it out. The talk is that you murdered her.
I? What?
It is silly, of course.
That's ridiculous. Utterly and completely ridiculous. Well, now, if you'll excuse me, Inspector, I have much to do.
The relatives...
The what?
Your wife, you said she has relatives.
Oh, yes. A sister in Rome and another in Florence.
I'd appreciate it if you'd give me their names and addresses.
Well, certainly. Only... Well, if you ask me, Inspector Madero, the police are making a mountain out of a molehill.
A matter of routine, senor. Routine. Nothing more.
Enjoying yourself, Isabella?
Oh, Arno, I am. You have no idea. Thank you for bringing me. It's so wonderful. There must be thousands and thousands of lights, all kinds of colors, and the music and the people in costume and fireworks. Arno, the fireworks have started. Let's get closer.
Well, if we can, but pushing through this crowd is going to be... Hey, what? Come on, Chester, stop blocking my way.
Why, Arno, it's me, Fortunato.
Father, I didn't know you were dressing up as a court jester.
Yes. How are you, Arno?
Well enough, Fortunato, and you?
Well, fine, except, I've been a little troubled, a little puzzled not hearing from you, especially after I gave you a 3-month extension on the loan.
Well, I've been very busy, Fortunato. Very busy. Harvest time, you know. I just haven't had a moment to myself.
Yes, but still and all. Well, never mind. This is a night for fun and pleasure, which reminds me, have you managed to find some 23 Amontillado for me?
Well, the truth is, Fortunato, that... Now, I don't want to get your hopes raised, but...
You have found some.
No, not yet, but I may. Now, I say I may have located a barrel of it in Mantilla.
A whole cask? Oh, if that is only true.
My agent is checking. I'll let you know.
As soon as you do, don't waste a minute. Get it over from Spain as fast as you can.
I'll do my best.
Well, see you later.
Look! Oh, Arno, look! At least 100 skyrockets all exploding at the same time.
Yes, it's some sight, isn't it?
It certainly is, Senor Montresor.
Oh, Inspector Madero.
Well met, senor. And isn't this Signorina Bellini with you?
Yes, Isabella, this is Inspector Madero of the police.
How do you do?
Enjoying the carnival, I hope?
Oh, yes.
Oh, Arno, by the way, she didn't go to her relatives.
What?
Your wife. She didn't go to her sister in Rome or Florence. We checked. They haven't seen her.
Oh, well, she must have gone elsewhere then.
Of course. The question is, where? You have no idea, as you said, senor.
No.
Yes. Well, I'll just have to keep looking till I find her.
Arno, take me home now. I shouldn't have come to your house in the first place.
Oh, just another glass of wine, Isabella.
No. I can't seem to get up from the chair. What's happened to me?
I've drugged you, that's what's happened.
Drugged me?
To make killing you, murdering you, easier.
Murder?
You stupid, ugly little fool. You really believed me when I said I found you not unattractive? That I'd be delighted to escort you to the carnival?
What? Arno, what are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm going to do the same with you that I did with Margarita. Wall you up in the catacombs below.
You killed her? Then walled her up?
Oh, no. No, she was alive when I did it. At least she was when I put the last stone in place. But she didn't last long after that, I'm sure. It couldn't have been more than an hour or so before she suffocated to death.
Suffocate? I've got to get out of here. I can't move.
No, you can't, so you might as well stop trying. You haven't a chance, Isabella. Not a chance.
Why are you doing this to me?
Revenge. Revenge for what your father did to me. Revenge for what Margarita did to me. Revenge for what you did to me.
I?
You were right, you see. If you hadn't come running to me, falling over yourself to tell me what you'd seen, I'd never have known Margarita. My beloved Margarita. I'd never have known she'd been unfaithful. But you had to tell me. You and your wagging, gossiping tongue.
I didn't think.
I'd pick you up in my arms.
No.
And carry you down to the catacombs. To the second level below.
No.
And wall you up as I walled up Margarita.
Please.
Think what it will be like. As slowly one stone after another goes into place. A growing coffin lid for a stone coffin. Think of the agony that lies ahead when the last stone is placed and mortared in tight. Tight. And the air is cut off. And slowly, in agony and horror, you suffocate. Smother to death. Tell me now, little gossip. What have you to say to that? Nothing? I'm holding you in my arms, looking into your eyes. Eyes filled with fright, with terror. And you have nothing to say. Oh, you must have something. Surely there's some word you can speak, some sound you can make. That's it, again.
Consumed by revenge, Arno Montresor bears the numbed body of Isabella away to the catacombs below, as the terror in her heart pours from her throat. And if I'm not mistaken, Fortunato Bellini will be next in line for Arno's vengeance. We'll see when I return shortly for Act 3. Our theme, as I have said, is revenge. But in The Cask of Amontillado, we are also dealing with the perfect crime. What more perfect place for concealing a body, concealing it for even centuries, than in the wall of a catacomb, an ancient burial ground beneath the earth, itself a house of bones and skulls and skeletons. Arno Montresor has done this with his unfaithful wife Margarita, and now with Isabella, daughter of Fortunato, who seduced Margarita. But, as with all perfect crimes, the criminal inevitably goes one step too far.
Worried sick, Arno. What could have happened to Isabella after she left you?
Fortunato, my good friend, I wish I could tell you, though Really, I do think you're worrying unnecessarily.
Now, what do you mean, unnecessarily? You say you brought her home last night at 12:30. But when I returned from the carnival at 3 this morning, she was not in the house. And here it is 2 in the afternoon the next day. Where is she?
You ask me, she may have met with some friends and stayed with them.
No, I don't think so. It isn't like her, not like her at all. I must go to the police. I should have gone to them before this.
Oh, wait a little while yet. She'll show up. And by the way, I think I may have a surprise for you tonight. A pleasant surprise.
What do you mean?
You'll see.
The Amontillado. You have found me some Amontillado.
I didn't say that.
But that's what you mean. Where did you find it? How much of it?
Oh, no. You're running ahead of yourself and me. I said nothing about finding any Amontillado.
If you knew how much it means to me, the craving I have for that 1923 vintage.
I know. And believe me, when I tell you I've moved heaven and earth to find some for you.
And you have.
I didn't say that. And I'm not going to say another word until I'm sure I have the surprise for you.
And when will that be?
Perhaps tonight. Perhaps tomorrow. Perhaps never. I'll send a message to you. All right, keep moving. I want those grapes in before sundown.
Senor Montresor. A word with you?
Oh, Inspector, I'm very busy, as you can see.
Only a few minutes, no more.
Well, what?
Signor Bellini, you know him, I think?
Yes, we're very old friends.
He has reported his daughter missing, Isabella. You took her to the carnival last night, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Why?
Why? I felt sorry for her. I began to learn what it's like to be lonely, and I just felt sorry for her. A girl her age should have some fun out of life. Lord knows there's little enough.
True. About your wife, would you have any news for me?
News?
Have you heard from her? A letter, a message of some kind?
Why, no,
Well, if you do, be sure to let me know.
I will. Now, I must get back to my work. All right, you there, bring up the next cart.
One thing more, senor.
Yes, what?
I understand that the vineyard is built on catacombs, early Christian catacombs beneath us here.
Well, yes, where my house stands over there used to be a monastery. Of course, that was centuries ago.
Interesting, very interesting. You know, I have never been inside a catacomb.
Oh, is that so? No, not those baskets. Load those baskets.
Even when I was in Rome. I was wondering if you'd mind if I went down into yours.
Why, no, not at all. I'll take you down myself sometime.
Excuse me, senor, excuse me. I'm wondering if you might have seen a girl. She's 18. Her name is Isabella Bellini, and... excuse me, signorina. Excuse me. Do you happen to know Isabella
Fortunato, I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, she hasn't come home. No one has seen her. Everyone I've asked is...
What are you talking about?
Isabella. Would I be out here on the second night of carnival if I hadn't...
Didn't you get my message?
Oh, what message?
I found her.
What?
I had to come into town late this afternoon to pick up the cask of Amontillado.
Amontillado? A cask of Amontillado?
Yes, that's the surprise. My agent in Mantilla several weeks ago, he found a whole cask. 1923 vintage.
Oh.
Anyway, it arrived today, and when I came into town to get it, I ran into Isabella.
A cask, a whole cask?
I took her to my house. Dead on her feet from lack of sleep, and my house was the closest, so...
And then she's safe. Good. But the wine...
At my place, too, of course. Come on along. What a lucky night for you, my friend.
Yes.
You found your daughter and your favorite wine.
Well, good Lord, Arno. How far down into your infernal catacombs must we go?
To the third level. The lowest. This is the second. One more.
Why did you have to...
Careful. Parts of the walls have broken down. Take care not to trip on broken stones.
Now that I've turned my ankle, you tell me. Now, Why did you have to bring the cask, a whole cask, down to the lowest level?
The dampness. Very damp. Dampest part of the catacombs. See, the walls here are sweating with condensation.
Yes, but why did you have to bring...
I'm afraid all you know about wine, Fortunato, is how to drink it. When a place is damp, it's cool. The damper, the cooler. And casks of wine must be stored in... Oh, here we are. Precede me. I'll hold the torch high to give light ahead.
Of all places to store wine, bones, skulls, skeletons. More a grave than a wine cellar.
A grave? Yes. The grave of people buried here centuries ago. And now, yours! Your grave, fool. So, you're coming to your senses, Fortunato. Good. Because I want you to feel. I want you to savor every moment of horror that lies before you.
My head. Oh, no. What's happened?
I knocked you out. I picked up a rock and knocked you out with it.
But why? What's this? My arms, my legs, I can't move them.
Because you're manacled to bolts in the wall.
Oh, what are you doing to me?
Walling you up, my friend, as I walled up Margarita, walled up Isabella, so you can die in agony of horror, die of suffocation as they did.
Oh, no, let me go. Release me, I beg you.
You can beg till your tongue rots in your mouth. It'll do you no good.
Anything. I'll do anything you wish. I'll give you anything you wish.
You're doing that already, giving me exactly what I wish. Revenge, Fortunato. Revenge! That's it. That's it, fool. Fight to free yourself while I put another stone in place. Think of what's to come when the last stone, this one, goes in place. Darkness, blackness, the blackness of the grave. The grave made of walls covered with wet slime. The grave for the living. For you, as you die slowly. Slowly die of suffocation. The last stone. See, fool? See? Watch now as I put it in place. Watch. Your eyes can't tear themselves from it, eh? Let me look into them, your eyes, and enjoy, relish, taste the hideous fear, the ghastly horror of your soul. Into place it goes. Into place, the last stone. Now! Inspector Matero, to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Why, in a way, Senor Montresor, it's at your invitation.
I invited you?
Several weeks ago. You recall I mentioned that I'd never been down in the catacombs, and you said you would take me on a tour sometime.
Oh, that, yes. Well, I'm delighted to do so, but not today. I haven't the time.
I'm afraid the tour of the catacombs must be made today.
It's impossible, Inspector. I assure you, if I had the time to take you on a tour,
I'm sorry, I should have made myself clear. I'm talking about me taking you on a tour.
You taking me?
Oh, yes. I've already seen them. Your overseer showed me around this morning, after I showed him the search warrant.
What are you trying to tell me?
That you're under arrest for the murder of Signor Fortunato Bellini, his daughter Isabella, and your wife Margarita.
You're out of your mind.
No, but I think you were out of yours. I must congratulate you, Signor. You came close, very close, to committing the perfect crime. But you overlooked one single factor, one very small thing.
What?
We'll go down, and I'll show you.
No.
Yes.
Fortunato's body. Exposed to view. The wall torn down. How did you find him?
We didn't.
But who broke the wall down then?
No one. It collapsed of its own weight. You see, senor, the one mistake you made, the one thing you forgot, was the dampness on this third level. The excessive moisture. The wetness.
The cement. The cement wouldn't dry. It didn't dry.
So, as always with the perfect crime, there is some slight imperfection. Indeed, so very slight as not to be noticed by the murderer, to his deep regret. During the rehearsal of our adaptation of The Cask of Amontillado, a friend of mine visiting the studio said, "You know, E.G., this isn't the Poe story exactly as he wrote it." I agreed that it wasn't and explained that there's such a vast difference between story writing and playwriting that no adaptation can follow any story exactly. However, I also explained that our respect and admiration for Edgar Allan Poe impelled us to retain all of the original story where possible, and, above all, its chilling horror. We have reason to think Mr. Poe is pleased, and that you are too. Our cast included Richard Kiley, Francis Sternhagen, Roberta Maxwell, Leon Janney, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Was the CBS Radio Mystery Theater with The Cask of Amontillado as originally heard February 12th, 1974. I'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind, a programming note for August 20th where Old Time Radio USA will celebrate National Radio Day. We're still working on what the lineup is going to be for that day, so keep an eye out on our social media pages and our website for the latest. Also, we've made it super easy to listen to our live stations. You can go to the WOTR Radio Network website at WOTRradionetwork.com, where you can listen there on the website directly and find all the different platforms and ways where you can listen. And the best part? It's all free, all day, every day. With that, wraps up our episode for this week, and I'll be back next week with more from the golden age of radio. So, for the WOTR Radio Network and Classic Radio Rewind, I thank you so much for listening, and until next time, this is Barry Slinker saying goodbye for now.
Classic Radio Rewind is a production of the WOTR Radio Network. For more Classic Radio Rewind, and to listen to any of the WOTR Radio Network stations, go to www.WOTRradionetwork.com.